All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking the exact mental framework you need to push through severe adversity and actually achieve your most difficult goals. We're looking at a deeply powerful set of principles straight from our source material. It's basically a map of the psychological journey of resilience. We're talking about what happens in your mind when literally everything outside is telling you to just stop. If you've ever faced a challenge that felt totally insurmountable, well, the concepts we're about to explore are going to completely reframe how you view that struggle.
So, to really understand what it takes to succeed, we've got to ask ourselves a super fundamental question. What truly divides the people who give up from the people who win? It's a question that echoes through every tough thing you'll ever do. Is it just raw talent? Is it the circumstances you were born into? As we navigate through the text today, we're going to find out exactly what makes the difference. And honestly, you might be surprised to find out that the answer is entirely within your own control.
Okay, Section 1. Actions over words. Let's talk about execution. Our journey begins right at the starting line, where we have to draw a massive line in the sand between talking and actually executing. The core rule from our sources is pretty blunt. You are defined entirely by what you do, and your actions will always speak way louder than anything you say. Look, it's incredibly easy to state your intentions, right? To tell people your big plans and make grand promises. But talk is cheap. Intentions without execution mean absolutely nothing. This sets the baseline for the whole shebang. If you want to build real resilience, you have to strip away the promises and look strictly at your output. The only thing that counts is the action you're taking.
Moving on to Section 2, Embracing What You Hate. Time to face the daily grind.
Once you actually take that action, the reality of the daily grind hits you, and it hits hard. This is the critical phase where that initial burst of motivation just fades away, and the real test begins. Notice the stark contrast here between weak and strong mentalities. When someone with a weak mentality sees a winner, their immediate defense mechanism is to just say, "Oh, they're lucky." It completely absolves them of responsibility. But the strong? They understand the brutal reality of achievement. Good things only come to those who work for it. There's no magic formula. Working your ass off is the non-negotiable price of admission if you want to win.
To survive this grueling grind, you need true mental toughness. But the text defines this in a really fascinating way. It's the ability to do the things you absolutely hate, as if you actually love doing them. Think about the power of that for a second. It's not just tolerating the bad parts. It's not just gritting your teeth and surviving. The secret sauce is attacking the very tasks you despise with the energy and enthusiasm of someone who genuinely loves it. That massive shift in perspective, that's exactly how mental toughness is forged. And here is the wild paradox of the whole thing. Leaning into constant discomfort is exactly what ultimately creates an easy life. It's a fundamental trade-off. If you constantly seek the easy route today, if you dodge the things you hate doing, your life is going to be incredibly hard later on. But if you embrace that discomfort on a daily, consistent basis, you're doing the heavy lifting right now to pave the way for long-term success. You are quite literally buying your future freedom with today's discomfort.
Which brings us to Section 3, Reaching the Breaking Point, Knowing When to Push Harder.
Look, eventually, no matter how tough you are, you're going to hit the wall. That dark, emotional moment where you're just exhausted and your mind is screaming at you to quit. But when life is trying to break you, remember this reframing from the text. It reserves the hardest battles for the strongest soldiers. This intense pressure won't break you. It's only going to make you stronger. When everything's going wrong, it's so easy to play the victim. But if you're facing an unbelievably difficult battle right now, it's actually a testament to the strength you already possess. The pressure isn't there to destroy you. It's the exact mechanism required to build you up.
It is completely normal to be tired, and yeah, your mind might be actively begging you to quit. But despite all that internal noise, you've got to establish a hard boundary in your head. Giving up simply isn't an option. Taking it completely off the table. Even when you're exhausted, even when you're whining a bit, you have to realize with absolute certainty that you cannot turn back.
Let's break down exactly why you can't quit. Think of it like a logical ledger of your sacrifices. First off, the job just isn't done. You haven't reached the goal yet. Second, think about the distance you've already covered. You've come entirely too far to just stop now. Third, consider the time and energy you've put in. You've invested too much. And finally, the most painful but powerful point, you've already lost too much to quit. You literally owe it to your past effort and your past losses to see this through to the absolute end.
All right, Section 4, Pushing Through to Victory. Time to extract the reward.
After surviving that darkest point, we move into the final phase where all that endurance finally translates into triumph. If we look at the timeline of this journey, you'll notice life is always the absolute hardest right when you're crossing over to a new level. If you don't get discouraged, your breakthrough is imminent. This is absolutely crucial to grasp. That massive spike in friction you feel, that's not a sign you're failing. Actually, scratch that. It's the total opposite. It's the exact resistance you face when you're leveling up. The hardest part of the battle is just the final gatekeeper. Keep going, because your breakthrough is sitting right there on the other side.
And this brings us to the ultimate realization. Instead of crying or whining about the struggle you have to endure to extract the reward that your pain has earned you, the sources do not mince words here. Don't cry about it. Don't whine about it. You have already suffered. You've already put in the time, faced the hardship, felt the pain. Do not let that suffering be for absolutely nothing by walking away empty-handed. Go get the reward that your pain has already bought and paid for.
Since we know actions always speak louder than words, the only thing left to ask is this: what definitive action are you going to take the very second this explainer ends? We started this whole journey by agreeing on one undeniable fact. You're defined by what you do, not what you say. We know the strongest soldiers face the hardest battles, and we know doing what you hate creates an easy life. So, I'll leave you with this. Knowing that your ultimate breakthrough is waiting just on the other side of your current struggle. What uncomfortable, difficult action are you going to tackle right now to prove your strength to yourself?